And we are live.
Good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ Live Trading Edition. This is the new version of Good Morning NASDAQ on Wednesdays, where we do a little live trading for you, give you a little glimpse of what we do in our webinars. During the webinars are like 11 a.m., but they're still live trading. Um, and kind of go away from the whole pre-market gappers. I know Huddy will probably talk about them in his watch list. But kind of switch up the format a little bit, give you guys a little bit. We let you see Kyle's screen. He generally makes some trades, clicks some buttons. Last time we did this, he was shorting one of the biggest runners of the year. And we got to talk a lot about HOLO. That was a lot of fun. Can't promise that will happen again today, but we do have some big gappers out there. You guys are all having a fantastic week as we hit the midway point in this week. It is Ash Wednesday today, so Lent is beginning for all you churchgoers out there. Welcome, welcome in.
Very nice.
Um, I just noticed we hit 4,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Wow. Congrats, everyone.
Little claps for everyone. Thank
Round of
you
applause.
all. This would also be a fantabulous time for you to hit that subscribe button if you're not already. If you're joining every morning, you're here for the Good Morning NASDAQ show for the Wine Wednesdays on Wednesday nights. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. We post videos every single week as well, long form content. And if you want, hit that thumbs up button as well. It helps the YouTube algorithm, helps get out in front of more traders, and allows us to feel good about what we're doing so that way we continue to do it for you. With that being said, I'm here joined by my good friends Kyle Williams, Mr. Michael Huddy. I think it's his last day with a 12-hour time difference. How you guys doing this morning?
Is that true, Huddy? Your last day in Thailand?
Yeah, my flight's in 9 hours.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. How have
Yeah,
you?
end of an era.
How has it been? Would you go back?
Uh, when I go back, I loved it. I loved it. It's pretty cool to have like 12 hours in the day to work on yourself, and do the things like, for me, it's all about health and wellness, right? So going to the gym, making sure the mind is right, cold plunge, saunas, infrareds, really healthy meals, and it's just pretty much 12 hours to work on yourself, massages, um, you know, uh, and
That
then
sounds
and then the
fun.
market starts, and I really only trade like the first 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm green. As a short seller in this market, I'm like nicely green. It's been tough. More days are red than green, but at the end of the day, like if you're consistent enough and you take your losses and hit your stops and don't revenge trade on the ones that are going nuts, and then you live to fight another day when the conditions are better, and you fight on that other day, not fight, but you just take your same setups again consistently. Like I see no problem with this market as being a short seller. I really don't. There's a lot of vernacular on Twitter. I suggest most people probably delete Twitter because it's only meant to probably get you to do some kind of marketing jargon that makes you believe that longing is the key or short selling is the key or whatever it is. They're both great in my opinion. But like I said, I've only short sold any of this action, um, and it hasn't been that bad. Again, like more days are red than green, but the green days, when I do hit the OMHs, when I do hit the H kits, when I do hit the holos, when I do hit, there's been some really nice all day faders with these massive gap ups. And having this kind of laissez faire approach where, I'm shorting in the morning and I'm having a very patient approach to a lot of these things with wide stops. I'm capitalizing on a lot of these big fades, and you know, it's been profitable so far. I'm still waiting for my minus 20K day. Hasn't happened yet. It's gonna happen, I think, because every day it feels like there's more and more gappers, and I'm kind of excited to be back in America to be trading these and not sleeping through most of the midday action, which is what I do, with stops in, of course. Um, the hardest part is waking up at 3 a.m. or so and covering. That's been rather tough for me. I haven't been perfect at that because obviously it's 3 a.m. and sometimes the heart wakes you up a little bit earlier, and then you got to wait, and then you get bad sleep, and you're like, is another $2,000 worth bad sleep for me? No, it really isn't. I'd rather get good sleep and feel good the next day, and so that's the part I'm excited to get back to America, but do the same thing I've been doing. I mean, just in America with less time to work on myself. So yeah, that's my roundup.
Alrighty. Fantastic. Well, For those who aren't aware and maybe don't realize, and I see a comment saying we're a bit late today. We are actually not. We are right on time. This is live trading on Wednesdays, doing it at 9:15 Eastern. So let's jump right into that. We are about 7 minutes away from the market open. I think each of us will go over what we're watching for a minute or two, and then we'll jump into the live trading. For me, I do have BMR up here. I am short overnight. I do have a 1633 average from yesterday. Mainly my average is so low because I actually did add into this midday bounce here in the high 15s. I think my original average was in the 18 range. Brought it down, and so now I think I want to risk this like 1808, 1807 area. One of these previous bounces from the day prior. Oddly, we have gapped up, and luckily and thankfully gapped up right below that level. Not sure. I mean, frankly, we've considering how much things have been spiking, I'm not sure if this gap up is bullish in the sense that we are now going to have another spike into, I don't know, anywhere from 20 to 30 into this resistance versus just this resistance from 2 days ago, or if we are just going to have no juice at all, no more strength in the bank, and just fade off and go red for the first time. Because the whole reason why I swung is because, yes, we've had one green day, yes, we've had a red candle, but a gap up day. The reality is we are still due for maybe an actual traditional red day where it's actually red on the day percent-wise. And so I think we could see that today. Now, the issue is if we do go over 18, I do plan on cutting it and then expecting some kind of secondary or I guess third ramp up. That might be the only potential trade I have today. I am watching SMCI very closely and NVDA. Frankly, because I just think that these aren't holding up super well, and these are going to probably blow off to, I don't know, SMCI to 900, and who knows, maybe NVIDIA to 800. These do just look that much or that impressive. As I say it now, we're literally making new highs pre-market. So pretty insane, pretty intense. And so we'll see where that leads us. But that's going to be my watch is very condensed today. That's going to be the main ones. So. Dom, Putty.
Hey, how are you?
I'll go.
Okay, Jim will go.
Just pretty much the three that I'm watching for shorts, for sure are BREA, ELWS, DTSS. Obviously very risky, and I have a plan in place, and I have data that I'm trading off of, and I kind of expect to lose on all of them, and we'll see what happens. And then the other. So what I said, ELWS, BREA, and DTSS, and then I am also watching IINN and TAOP to short as well. The ones that are opening up weak and off their highs, I don't mind waiting for a spike out of the gate. Something like towards VWAP from pre-market would probably be a target, or any kind of resistance on the daily chart. I don't mind getting a better average because I think that means more reward in the fade. And as far as DTSS goes, that one has so much range, and it's a lower float, although not one that terrifies me, but it is a lower float. With that range, I'm probably going to go smaller size on that one because I think it's more than likely that I stop out. But I'm still going to give it a shot because if it doesn't stop me out, I think there's a lot of range to the downside equally to the upside. So we'll see which way it goes. Nothing would surprise me in this market. Just because it's up 500% doesn't mean it's not going to go higher. But I'm used to losses at this point.
All righty.
DTSS reverse split from last month, and then earnings yesterday.
An earnings winner too?
Yeah, light watch for me today. Not a whole lot I'm watching. Just watching INBS and MGIH for first green day reversals. Just watching the opening 5 to 10 minutes on those, see if any volume comes in for potential bounces back into resistance. And then DBGI and BGLC, both big runners from yesterday that got pretty extended and then closed way off their highs. So if there is any enticing looking spikes back into prior resistance from yesterday on DBGI, looking at that 850 to 950 area, and on BGLC looking at I'm looking at 2 to 250 on that one, but would primarily be waiting for big spikes, hard cracks, and then some rollover back towards red. But those are gapping down And BGLC is gapping out over 20%. DBGI just slightly red right now. So we'll watch those out of the gate. But not sure if I'll click any buttons this morning. Just going to be a little reactionary, see if anything develops. I'll watch the first screen days first. And if those don't really pan out, then probably just sit back and watch what Kyle's doing.
All right, fantastic. Gosh, as we're speaking, BMR is popping here, which it's just so annoying because obviously we're speaking in hindsight. It's like, had I known this if this is gonna spike to 18 and then pull the spike to say, let's say it goes to like 25 somewhere in this region, this form resistance, covering yesterday obviously was the move and just a much better, easier play to take it from 19 or 20 down to 14. Unfortunately, this is just that. I don't know. I don't want to say stubborn, but that impressive of a chart that just keeps holding. And so this pop into the open slightly makes me think I am going to have to cut it. Unless it just completely dies right out the open. I don't see in a world where this doesn't spike over 18. Now, this doesn't mean I'm just going to cut it here to I know a lot of traders, and I myself included, do this where it's like, oh, well, if you know it's going to spike to your risk level, why don't you just cut it and reshort it there or reshort it higher? It's like, I don't know for sure. Obviously, I didn't think it was going to gap up here, so I can't tell the future. So I'm willing to risk 18 and just give it a shot to see if it does fail off the open. But I'm fully prepared here to have to, unfortunately, stop out if it does get there. And we have, 50 seconds left. But I'm also willing to add. So if it holds 18, say it starts dying, and say it breaks below this support from pre-market here, this 15.5, I would be willing to short a breakdown in the odds that it goes red today. But we'll see. We shall see.
BMR kind of interesting because I feel like people have been shorting it for day because it hold 60-70% off its highs on day one, but it still hasn't had a red day.
Right.
Even yesterday was green, and today so far is green. So it's kind of interesting one.
What's even odder is that they did an offering at $7. But that offering doesn't go effective, I think, till tomorrow. So it's one of those things where it's like an offering has come, but it's not going into place till tomorrow, but yet it's 100% up off its offering price. It's just kind of an interesting dynamic here. So I'm wondering what it's going to do today. Let's see here. Got my finger on the trigger if we're gonna get stopped out.
He's got his finger on the trigger.
And if I do stop out again, I would love this to spike into the mid 20s, maybe even 30 for a possible reshort and then fade. Because every time this is spiked, this has retraced quite a healthy amount. So we'll see here. Okay, some failure. Let me zoom in for you guys so you can see here. I don't want to short just yet, but it's a good start. And actually, let me look at the volume real quick. Are we much lighter? Not really. Actually, yes, we are. Sorry, this is the first opening candle. So that's a good sign to start. I might short a little early if we do break down. We'll see, though. I'm willing to short it above 16 before we break this 15.5. Let's see. There's this huge bid here. Let me show the bid real quick. Pop it out. There was a huge bidder at 16.6 or 16.50. If they take him out, I'm probably going to add. If he's even still there, I don't even see him anymore. Oh, there he is. Yep. Will they take? It looks like they're going to slowly chew him. Yep. Wow, that was quick. chewed him, and then went to 16 before I get an ad. So unfortunately, my ad is let the lows there. Was hoping to get a little bit after him, but I guess not. But it's okay. I think we're going to die anyway. This is very similar to 2 weeks ago on RVSN idea. So I get the same kind of vibes here, where I'm chasing a little bit of weakness, but because I think there's much more weakness to come. So we will see here. So far, it's retraced back. And I'll probably risk that ad, or add 1,000 shares from 2,000 shares. I'll risk that ad on the highs here, and then risk the rest on 18. And unfortunately, I may regret that ad only because I'm trying to be early. I was late to the actual pull, but I'm trying to be early before this breakdown of like the 15s, which could result in the fact that I am just early in general. The volume is lower though, like I said. I'll get this out.
I took a starter on MGIH, risking 250.
MGIH, risking 250. Okay, nice.
Yeah, I've been kind of tweaking around with Gratani's reversals recently. Waiting for the 5-minute high means you miss the entire move. So I've been trying to get like half size, kind of right out of the gate on the day I think it's going to happen if I can get tight enough risk. And then watching that 275 to 280 area to see if it can kind of perk towards 3 for the rest of it. Or if it just, it's because it's still quite a liquid right now. If it pulls back, I'll just stop out and move on.
Nice. Definitely has.
Nala asked Kyle if you shorted Nvidia or SMCI yesterday.
Oh yeah, if you were in the room, you saw me overtrading those suckers way too much. I'm upset about 830s, lovely. I'm upset about it because my risk was like 800 on SMCI, and so it never broke that all day. But what do you know? I am cutting it when I think it's coming back. I am reshorting when I think it's weak. I must have shorted and reshorted and covered like 5 times throughout the day, and frankly chopped myself up to losses that just didn't need to happen. It could have been 1 loss had I just waited till 800, which happened in after hours. But somehow and for some reason I'm cutting it multiple times throughout the day, and chop myself up. So yeah, if you were in the room, like other people were, I started making a joke of myself. I'm like, oh, is the 7th time the charm? Like, if I short again, will it work now? Yesterday was an exhausting day, sadly. I'll do it to myself. I'm just over trading everywhere, frankly. So, but anyways, back to BMR here. We haven't.
I got stopped out at MGIH.
Oh, that was quick.
It was quick. Took a little slippy too.
Oh yeah, little pull there. That's too bad.
Yeah, then INBS is the one I was watching, which is green but too wide of a spread. It's been like 20 cents all morning. I'm pretty much done for the morning. Because all the other ones, DBGI, BGLC, look to be going lower.
Oh, I didn't get enough DTSS. That was annoying. Might come back.
BMR, I might have to stop out the ads here, which is annoying.
ELWS doesn't look fun.
We're stopping out there. The rest keeps going higher. That's not fun. That's annoying. Do we still fail though? Yesterday it did something similar where it broke to highs by a couple cents, and then we failed. But we'll see. This looks much stronger. Yeah. I'm eating it. This is not it. Not it. Took a loss. Over 18. Here we go. Let's
way
see.
I see BMR for me, coming from the more simplistic approach, is like I said earlier, it's yet to be red on the day.
Right.
Even yesterday was significantly green. We closed at like $10 on Monday. We gap into the 14s, spike to the 20s. I'd prefer for this just to continue to bounce. We kind of feel like the breakout over 35 is pretty unlikely. And so it's kind of a mix of a bounce short from the 10 to the 20 area, as well as just a first red day from the initial run. So I'd prefer, I think maybe a couple people are still just kind of stuck and keeping this thing higher than it should be. And maybe an actual first red day would be really solid there.
I agree. I mean, yeah, it could have something nuts, like if it pulled a holo from yesterday, where it did the bounce actually did break highs by $1 or $2 and then fade. That's always a possibility. But I do agree with what Dom was saying. It's naturally, usually it's very unlikely that bounces get over the high from the run, especially if they're that far off their highs. So we'll see how high the spikes, but I would really enjoy some kind of some parabolic or some spike into this form of resistance, to then obviously retrace back to probably the lows of the day. Because again, it's done that 3 times, or it's done it twice in a row now. What's to say the odds on the third time? Like, it's really spike from 4 to 35, insane. Pulled back to pretty much 10. Did another spike from 10 to 22ish, let's call, if we round up a bit, and pulled back to 13. So if we could do a spike to, like, let's say, I don't know, 25, maybe this high of like 30, 29, somewhere in here, and then pull back down to 20 or 18 or even the lows of 16. That could be somewhat promising. So we'll see here. And it is halted up, so we are halted. I'm looking over here at SMCI, which is just an absolute tear. Absolutely incredible. On our way to 900. If I had to guess from a next round magnet, blow off looks very close on the near horizon. What's NVIDIA doing? NVIDIA is also up, but not nearly as much because it's a much bigger company. NVIDIA. But it's gapping up as well. Just hasn't got over the highs, so it's got some resistance, but now it's pulling back a little. Okay. What were you saying earlier about DTSS, Huddy?
Nothing.
Nothing. Just
I got my
spiking.
fills.
Yeah. Just spiking around. All right.
Oh, internet just went out. That's not great.
Oh, that's always fun. Let's go back to BMR.
You gotta love Thai internet. All right, I'm officially involved in all the stocks I want to be involved in with my stops in place. Again, DTSS is the one I have the smallest size in because it has the most range, so it scares me, and I think I'm likely to stop out. But I have gotten all my size into strength here, so most of it. So maybe it shouldn't be as small as I am. ELWS has not really traded all that much. I don't really love that. It's just halted.
What's the ticker?
ELWS. It's a weird one.
ELWS. Oh, yeah. Halted right away. Okay. Oh, wow. Big gapper. Big gapper.
It's kind of like cadence for me. I feel like today's the blow up day because it goes like you have a big runner and then you have all the sympathy plays. Then you have a big runner and then you have all the sympathy plays. And since yesterday we're kind of all the sympathy plays to BMR, and DTSS feels like the big runner, and then we'll have all the sympathy plays. But I'm not allowed to make judgment calls based off that, so I have to take my loss if it happens.
Right.
But I am short also ELWS, BREA, IINN, TAOP. So we'll see.
TAOP? Taupe?
Yeah, we got that one.
Nice, that looks good. It's a good one.
The Holo
ELWS
continues
is
higher
not
this morning.
Holo is higher this morning. Nice little continuation there. Okay.
This one's funky.
Funky
Kind of
indeed.
outside the norm of regular patterns. Now the only pattern I really is a potential breakout on the double top of 42, which seems like the craziest thing to ever say out loud. But now there is just a ton of support between 15 and 20. Like if you pull up like a 5-day chart, like it's hard to think on, without liquidation, we're just gonna bust through all that in a short period of time.
Yeah, all up here. Yeah. No, yeah, without a full-on dump, it's probably not going to. So
Which
we'll
makes
CTSS
shorting it
should
now
help
just
here.
crazy.
BMR's reopened here. Come on, let's keep spiking. If it died here, that'd be super annoying. But I mean, it technically could because it hasn't gone over yesterday's highs. It could fail in this resistance. Here we go. Come on. And then in terms of an actual level, if I actually look at we've been talking rough ranges, but I mean, I want to see how it does yesterday's highs. I want to see how it does at, what is this? Like this 25 area ish. I don't know. Just a nice round number. That's quarter of 100. and then potentially this 29 here, this last lower high before it really unraveled. So we'll see. All right, keep going there. SMCI approaching 250, or sorry, 850. Holy freaking moly! It's honestly wouldn't. I mean, I don't know why. I feel odd that a large cap can make this kind of a move, because it is already up 6% of the day. But like something tells me that like if it's gonna have a big blow off, I mean, what's stopping this from being up 100 points in the day? You know, obviously anything, like sellers can come in anytime they want, but when a freight train is just on its way, you just never know how high these can go. So pretty impressive.
I don't have enough size on. That is gonna annoy me. Like little chicken shit for me on the open on that one because it was annoying. But that'll piss me off
Are
at the
we
end of the day
not
if it
doing
works.
the short the open, buddy?
We're doing short the open with a lot of discretion towards it.
Because I thought it was a click the button, do the math, click the button.
Bro, I'd love to see you do the math on 7 stocks right at
Mm.
open and get in and like immediately. It's not as easy as it looks, and it's not easy.
But I feel like you just got to oversize then, do it the wrong direction.
Nah, that's how you blow up. So I don't know how, but like hollow, I took a half size loss on the day that it squeezed, and so the next day when it still fit the strategy, the next day I made all my money back ×2, because for whatever reason I was half size, and then BMR. For whatever reason, I came to that day, I saw the NVIDIA catalyst, and I said, all right, third size on that one. And I really only took a $2,000 loss on that one on its day. And then, yesterday made back all of it and some. I don't know. There's some discretionary vibes. Like I just shorted my full size on DTSS in the 14s. Why? I don't know. That's the one I was least interested in hitting right at the open because I thought it would be the most squirrely. Whereas like TAOP, IINN, like TAOP is specifically, I don't want to give away too much on this, free stream, but like look at the daily chart and ask yourself why like I'm interested in that one, even though it's not like a massive gapper. IINN, I kind of see a different risk level that I like, but that doesn't mean it's going to hold in this market. BREA, I think I'm like 20% undersized as well. It's really hard to do all the math and get your positions in the first,
Oh yeah.
I want like above the open price. If anything, I don't want to chase the stocks down. And so like, BREA, like I have to literally sit and I barely got tagged on 2 perks on that one. And I didn't have my full size yet. I was just like kind of still figuring it out. I was rounding in that moment. So, it's just busy. I'm not trying to short 5-10 minutes before market open because the prices can change so much in those 5-10 minutes that it can really mess with the stats at the end of the day.
That it can.
So
yeah, DTSS is impressive. I haven't opened another chart here just to keep an eye on it. But
don't say that.
Quite a sick move.
It's so impressive that it needs to come down now, right? You were saying like it's already been impressive. The scary's over.
It's gone from 2 to 15 in not even whatever 4 or 5 hours of pre-market and after and into the market hours here. Like it's quite crazy.
I like this. I don't remember stocks spiking like this in my whole career.
No, this is different, and unfortunately, it's frustrating because it's super. Like we're in a super hot market here, but it's not the hot market that I am most comfortable in. Where it's like I like multi-day runners. I like stocks that can do these 100% moves over 2 or 3 days, not in half an hour, kind of idea, or not in a couple hours.
Yeah.
So it's a bit out of my wheelhouse to some degree, and I'm managing okay, but
I hate it.
This is a big fail on BMR. And I really don't want to. I really would hate reshorting and then still stopping out over the highs. But like, this didn't even make it to yesterday's highs. So part of me wants to give it another shot, but I just
nice reject there on DTSS. Not that it means anything for me, but it felt nice.
It feels good.
I like it when it doesn't break the highs,
I like when it doesn't stop me out.
Yeah, I feel like ELWS wants my blood. When I got that feeling, the second it just halted right up, that reminds me of like the BGLCs or the MGLOs. It's more of like a parabolic spike, and I
Dude,
might have to come back to
who
that
looks
one.
at that and wants to trade it?
Not me.
I don't get it. Like, was that BGLC yesterday? What is that? Who's like, once the first spike happens in all halts and the first pullback happens with all halts, who's like, let's short the bounce here because I'm thinking the halts are over. It's, oh, that looks so horrible. Your whole day is just spent 50% of your days sitting in halt bands.
DTSS, not the fun part.
What's your risk on that? Like $5 a share?
Like much higher.
20?
No, I think it's in the 17s.
It's your average?
I have no idea. I took that off my screen a long time ago. All I know is I have a better average than what like my data would have, and that's all that matters to me. And I have smaller size than full size on that one because of what I said earlier. So, and the average doesn't matter. That's just going to make me emotional about every single tick. Um, Makes no difference. The loss will be the loss unless it pulls the BMR and halts through it, and I take massive slippage. But again, I'm kind of sized in for that scenario as well. Like just being responsible in a very active market, and not shying away from what's been working for me. And until I'm in like a drawdown, like I will probably won't stop. And one day does not constitute a drawdown. 1 month doesn't even constitute a drawdown. But there's a dollar amount that I do have a pull the plug number on, and it's data driven. It's coming for me.
Nice. So super strong. Well, what's the float? This thing, I mean, I haven't even looked. I can tell this is a low
It's like
float.
1.3.
Yeah. Yeah. Not great.
I'll tell you what, it's not the type of stock where you can like kind of again can't you really use tight risk on these because you're just gonna get blown right through.
Yeah.
It's crazy it really hasn't halted that much. It should halt soon, which is dangerous because it's near my stop, and I hope it doesn't just skip up a couple dollars. That's my worst nightmare with all these low floats, right? That spike that's like if it halts and it's like, indicating 25, that would hurt.
Oh yeah, that would not be fun.
Again, kind of sized in for it, but not really sized in for $7 a slippage. What if it says 30? What if it says 50? Like we're in a market where not in a market, we're in a like that stuff didn't used to happen in my first 5 years. And we've seen it a lot in the past 2 or 3 years. So it's just a new worry that wasn't really there in the past. We'll see. I'll eat my medicine when it comes. Like obviously, I'm not trading six-figure positions for that obvious reason. Like my size is completely manageable.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
Even if it gapped to 100, I'd be upset, but it would really only be like 3 months of trading for me. And that's like
Well,
obviously DEFCON 5.
Throne asks, do you guys use stop limit or stop market for risk?
It depends on how liquid I think the stock is. But usually stop limit. But I rarely ever use stop market orders. But if I use them limit order, it probably could be taken as a market order because my limit's usually so far ahead, a high of where I'm cutting, just to make sure I get a fill. So I don't know. It just depends on how wild I think the stock is, how likely I am to fill, how much slippage I think I'll take, and again, that's all about, I don't know, just recognizing price action. Like DTSS, like there's a high chance there'll be slippage, right? If I have a stop somewhere, because it can wick 30, 50 cents in any direction within seconds, And so one bad fill means an extra 20 cents of an entry or exit. So
I use stop market always. A, it's easier to make in terms of it's like 3 buttons and I add it in. B, I'm in the boat of I'd rather lose with slippage than lose triple because I didn't fill. And then I come back, especially the majority of the time I use stops is because I'm walking away or going to go do an errand or something. And I do not want to come back and see the stock 100% higher or 20% lower and me still in it and I had a stop in, which can happen if it just kind of skips through you on your limit and then it's above it or below it. So I use stop market and accept the slippage. And if it is something that I expect there to be something like that on, then maybe I just don't use the stop and I don't allow myself to leave the position alone without watching it.
there we go. Nice. While we're talking here, I've re-added some more BMR. I don't know if you guys saw that. Added some more size here. Added a very fifth exercise down here. Kind of a chase, but that's why it's only a fifth. And obviously 80% of my size is up here. But clearly we needed one little spike. Can't even get over yesterday's highs. And now we are fading. And I imagine, again, still same concept, right? So like if we didn't go to 25, that's fine. But we did spike a little bit. It's like I imagine, these, again, whether it was the spike to 35 and then pull back, like, what is it, 70% of its highs, something crazy, or it's spike to 22 and pull, what is that, 50% of its highs, maybe like 40. Wouldn't surprise me if this, spiked to, let's call it 20, let's round up, pulled 30% off its highs. So call it back to red green potentially. We'll see though. If it starts chopping around and coming back and maybe breaking back over this bounce high of the 17s, either downsize or just call it quits because it can come back. But this kind of a spike and one and done so quickly doesn't look the healthiest. So
I did take my medicine on DTSS, lost $3,000 there, which is again what I sized in for. I think I cut it out at 17.5. The one I kind of expected to lose on, so happy I sized into it in a way that didn't mean I was going to lose the full size that I normally size into like 6-7K, given that my account's kind of grown in this market environment. And I think that's the thing, like when you have this sort of range, right? Like it's gapping up 500%. I expect range. I expect it to be a low float. So it's kind of what I said at the market open, just because it's up 500% doesn't mean it can't go further. And part of me thinks that I'm not allowed to have these discretionary thoughts, but in this market so far, it's kept me relatively safe. And, between TAOP, IINN, BREA, ELWS didn't stop me out. Like I am violently green on the day, even with that loss, because I have the same sizing across all of them. So, and again, DTSS was the smallest size. Just because I stopped out doesn't mean that DTSS is near topping out. I really don't know how to tell you guys when it will or will not top out, but this is a pretty big run for it. And as far as like reattacking, like I will not be trading it again. Like once it stops me out of my system, like I don't have another strategy to come back and fight it. And I think that's where losses get bad. I'd much rather just walk away with minus $3,000 and pray the other ones don't stop me out as well. And if the other ones fade off and DTSS gets weak from here, just be another day. And that's kind of trading, right? If I win on 3 and lose on 1, I'm very happy with those results.
Totally. DTSS is the kind of runner that would get me in trouble because it looks like a parabolic, but little does anyone know how high this actually can go. And so in the name of shorting a parabolic, I'll short it like right here, and then it skips up to 22, and then I take a huge loss, and then I start revenge trading. So I'm gonna do my best to stay away from this puppy because this thing could just.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I keep trying to tell people, or I guess I keep trying to tell myself, like you can't have good risk management on these and try to have tight risk because whatever you're risking, like I think it's going to be very hard to have a very specific stop out. I mean, maybe you get it, but you also could get swiped on pretty easily, and you have to bake that into your risk management.
Right.
Someone asked CNVS week at the open, thoughts on bounce play as short start to cover?
CNVS.
I have a pretty easy answer for me for this. It's just if what do the stats say? What are your numbers say for this pattern? How do you differentiate this pattern in terms of finding the right criteria for it so it's the same pattern over and over and over again? Because if I just bought every week open on big gappers, I don't know what that strategy would look like, but since I haven't done the due diligence and buying a stock when the majority of people are underwater that doesn't fit jive with what I like to do. Yeah, for me, like what's the bigger play? What's the understanding of, I haven't even heard of this ticker yet today, so that shows you maybe there's not as many shorts as you think in it, and it's just a weak gapper. But for me, is it a consistent play that you could take 100 times in a row and know that's the same criteria every single time, or is it just buying weakness on gappers?
Right. I was gonna say something similar of the way it's worded, maybe, and maybe you're not you don't intend to ask the question this way, but asking or thinking about a trade plan and then just entering in different criteria that fit your thesis doesn't help you long term. So like, for example, you said thoughts on a bounce play, a short start to cover. How do you know shorts are in? Like, how do you know shorts are going to cover and bounce this thing up? What if they're not in? What if they're not going to cover and this thing fades back to 2? The great thing about great setups is that you have like more than just thoughts on your side. You have some kind of objective fact or some objective actual things in the market that are going to go in your favor eventually. Maybe not right away, because again, a lot of trading is about timing. But unless you can like prove that there are shorts in here, and then you can prove to see them and where they start covering, which again, it's a skill set some traders do have, but I personally don't. I don't have any conviction behind an idea like this. And like Dom said, I don't have any stats. I haven't tracked that kind of idea of bouncing gappers. But I could say, the point is I'm trying to get to is like, are they your thoughts, or are the actual objective things happening in the market? And as I say, it's bouncing. Who knows if this shorts are covering or not? But like, I could say all I want, like, CNVS is going to go to 2 today because I think there's dilution, and I think there's more sellers than buyers, etc. And it's like, do I have any? I haven't even looked at the dilution. I just think they have dilution, right? Just as much as I think shorts are going to cover. So and again, a lot of trading is thinking. So there's a gray area here, but for someone like Dom and then someone like me, we're people who need a little bit more concrete of indicators to really feel comfortable taking something with a little more backing in terms of the odds in our favor. So, but as I'm seeing, it is spiking. So we'll see if it gets higher.
I think stuff like when you start to talk about things that aren't trackable, like where shorts are, where a long stuck, where are shorts going to cover, where are shorts risking off of, where are shorts in from, those are all extra pieces that play into a pattern that is already a pattern based off technicals. I like to start with technicals because those are the only things not lying to me. And then everything else is the way to build around my thesis or to potentially build some more conviction. Like I might be trading a multi-day breakout on DWAC or NKLA in the summer, right? And everything I'm doing, the position, everything, the way I manage my position is because of the technicals and support and resistance. And maybe the conviction I get is from the fact that I think everyone is stuck short, and when the breakout happens, it's a mix between technicals and these non-trackable outliers kind of coming together. It usually doesn't go with, I think shorts are going to get squeezed, so I'm long, because I need a technical reason first.
All right. Well, anyways, guys, that is the first 30 minutes here. We're going to close her out. Thanks so much for tuning in. Good questions today and some potentially good trades, some losses for us, but that's all right. They happen. They're part of the game. As always, today is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers out there. Dom and I will... What's up? Oh, Dom said thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Dom and I will still be at Wine Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. So for those who have celebrated a different day, like myself, I celebrated with my girlfriend a couple days ago, or who are single and just need some love with us, we happily can spend it with a bottle of wine or a glass of wine tonight. And as always, $7 7-day trial. Boot camp coming up in less than 2.5 weeks, so get on board for that. We got the last couple of people buying their tickets yesterday. I'm excited to see them. And thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you guys either at Wine Wednesday or in the webinars in the following rest of the week if you're in 4-leaf. So see you, everybody. Peace.
Bye.